Hey, welcome back to day 8 of training. Today we're going to talk about closing the sale. And the very first thing that you need to know about this and going into it is just to be confident. If you need to, before you get back into that conversation with the person, or if you're having any doubts of yourself, go back to that, mastering your mindset and just thinking about your own story and how the programs and products and the process that we use here, how it has helped you to help bring that confidence back around, because what you have to offer is of great value and will change people's lives. So you've got to go into your conversations with that in mind. Like if you're hesitant about providing the information and getting that person enrolled, they're going to be hesitant too. So start with the mindset, start with the confidence, and if you don't have it, go get it. Go master your mindset, read your personal development, and just think about your own story, and that's gonna help. So then, going into it, you always want to have a conversation. Like if somebody says, "Okay, just send me the link," don't ever just send them the link. You have to sort of break it all down, break it into it so that they see the value before they see the price. Otherwise, they'll just look at the price and not know really what that's providing them, and so they don't see the value of what they are getting. So never send the link. And even if somebody just asks you how much is it? One, that shows they're interested, right? Whether they're asking for the link or they're asking how much. So that's always good. But you never want to just say the price either. You always want to have a conversation. You always want to dig a little deeper. So you can respond with something like, "Well, I'd love to send you the package options, but I'd love to ask you some questions first. So I'm send you the right information, something that, send it to you that's going to be right for your goals." So always, always, always ask questions. If somebody's like commenting on one of your posts or your stories that's program specific, a good question to ask them is, like if it's 80-day obsession or if it's 10 rounds, just ask them, "Are you familiar with this program, or would you like some more details?" And that's always good, because they're like, "Oh, well, I see you doing it, but send me the details." It's usually what you're going to get. Another question you can ask is, "Are you familiar with Beachbody On Demand, with streaming workouts?" Just kind of strike up that conversation so that you're in this conversation and they're asking questions, you're providing information. Another question would be, definitely, what are your goals? So you know what their goals are and what their current lifestyle is. I always like to know, what have you tried in the past that has either worked or not worked as well as you'd like, so that you can get an idea of what they've tried, what has worked for them, what they liked, what they didn't like, what didn't work, so you can address those things and share what you've done, maybe in some of those instances, with what you use, the programs and the products that's going to help them, why it's going to be different this time. And then when you're providing information, just a tip here is, so that the conversation keeps going, is to always end with a question. So when you're, talking about their goals, and maybe it's about nutrition, it's just, asking like, does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Or can you relate to this? Or would this be helpful to you? So always ending with a question, so then they reply to you and you keep that conversation going to the point where maybe then they're ghosting you a little bit. So the final question can be, "Do you have any other questions before we get started with the enrollment process?" And that I think it sounds very professional. It lets them know, it puts it into their ball court as far as having any other questions. They know that there's an enrollment process, so they realize that you are a business, you are a profession, you offer this service, and that they need to get joined into it. And but just make sure, but when you get to that point, that when you're at that point, that you've broken it all down. You want to make sure that that when you do finally talk about that price, that they actually see the value for that, and that the bundle is the best value. So when you break it down, you can itemize it out. Like you get in a spot in my exclusive boot camp. You get me as your coach to walk with you step by step through this and help you with whatever, whenever. You know, you get a month supply of Shakeology, or if you want, you can get the performance line instead, or best value, you can bundle them both together. You know, you get the portion control color-coded containers that go with our meal plans to tell you what to eat and how much to eat, so that keeps you in line with your goals. And you get a 12-month membership to access over $3,000 worth of workout programs, plus recipe ideas and lots of other bonuses in there too. Are you in? So you've broken it all down, and they say I'm in. And then when you go for the building that share cart, you know, they really can feel, they know the value they're getting for the price that they're paying. So, but you got to be very confident in that. Again, bringing it back to that confidence. I love this analogy that I heard, like if you were a car salesman and the car salesman came up to, you know, somebody looking at they needed a car, they want a car, they're looking at this car and like, yeah, you know, it's a great car, but yeah, it's kind of spendy. I know it's pretty expensive. You know, you don't want to come at it that way. If you believe in what you're offering and you know that it's going to help them, you'd be very confident, because it is an amazing price for what they get, right? Okay, so then if they're still not interested, like don't let that discourage you. You're gonna hear no's and not nows. Just know that this can be positive, right? One, they're interested, and you know they're interested. And two, you can put them on your follow-up list for next month. And I would schedule that. I would just say, okay, I get it. You know, let them know I run monthly groups. Would it be okay? Like I always ask for the question, I'll check in with you next week or next month. Is that okay? I always ask for that permission, so then they know that I'm going to come back around and, you know, see if they're ready now. And when I do contact them again, they expect that. They already know that it's going to happen. And that becomes a little easier conversation, because you've already talked about the goals and the bundles and what you offer and everything they get. And it might be just coming to that point where there's a possible objection. So you have the training on objections here, which is really helpful. So make sure you're pulling that resource out so that you can talk with people about any objections that they have. But it's really, again, bringing it right back to being confident. What we have to offer is amazing. It's life-changing, and people really need to have what we have to offer. So again, go in with confidence. And if you have any questions, there isn't a homework that goes with this video, but you'll see the link, which gives you some scripts to talk about, you know, what to say when you're doing that closing, when you're sending them, you know, some information on some of these different things. So check that out. And if you have any questions, or the information that we provided with this training doesn't address something that you've come across, or somebody, one of your customers, your people that you're talking with, reach out to your coach so that they can help walk you through that. All right. See you in the next training. Bye.